And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, both listening on the podcast, and for those of you who joined us in-house, you're right there, babes? It's a recording on this. I love that she was concerned anyway. So let's start that again.
Hey, no, I like it. Let's run with it.
Yeah. Off to the first experience of having
Imagine if we got 2 hours through.
The first experience of us having
is a fridge and coffee machine off.
It doesn't matter because we just need to make noise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a completely different vibe.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I'll make a coffee if you want.
Right, let's just keep going. Sod it.
Fix it in post, it's fine.
This is the vibe, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the vibe. So it's great having a studio audience here. I've got a very keen wife here who's just making sure that we were recording, so thanks for that. And we are recording, which is great. So welcome to the fourth episode of Breakaways and Breweries, and welcome to all our lovely audience here. How's it going? 10,000 of you.
Wow.
So
this is scary.
We are joined once again by Jamie Olsson, Louise, who's got some very exciting things to talk about tonight. Thank you. And the sensei, Danny Roberts-Clarke.
Can I just point out that Jamie just waved on a podcast?
I'm getting nervous in front of a live studio audience.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, no.
That's good. So what is Breakaways and Breweries? For those of you who haven't listened before, Breakaways and Breweries is simply an opportunity for us to get around a table with some beers or beverages of your choices. And now we've got some lovely audience to talk about it as well. And we'll talk about pro racing and also talk about some local beers, which is very exciting. But before we get into it, guys, how are we doing?
Good.
How you doing, Danny?
Good, mate.
What's been going on?
Yeah, good. Full gas, busy.
Full gas, busy?
Yeah, lots of bikes to build.
Lots of bikes to build.
And fix.
And fix.
Yes. Your bike wouldn't have to be one of those, would it, Louise?
Yeah, my bike might be one of those.
Yeah,
secret bike fixing.
Yes.
How about you, Jamie? How's it going?
Oh, swimmingly.
Swimmingly,
Yeah.
eh?
Yeah.
So, usually at the beginning of the podcast, we talk about the beers that are local to the races that we're talking about. But we're doing something a little bit different tonight because over the last few weeks, we got some taps installed here at Giro. So we're going to be sampling the beers that are from those taps. So for those of you who are local to the area, come on down and sample it. What are you drinking there, Jamie?
The Park Brewery Amelia Pale Ale.
Beautiful.
Very nice.
So we got that on tap. We've also got the Big Smoke
Rare Magic,
which is a beautiful hazy pale, and I am drinking the Lucky Saint non-alcoholic. And we've partnered up with these guys. Really good beer. All right, so before we get into the Tour de France, so this is what this podcast is doing. Let's talk about the Giro. How did you guys find the Giro this year?
Great.
Really good race, right?
Moist.
At the beginning of why is your microphone so loud, Jamie? At the beginning of the last podcast, I was talking about how I never really get kind of too excited about the Giro, but then when I kind of start looking into it, it's always great, and every year it delivers. And so, sure enough, it was the kind of on the bit of a down after the classics, and kind of trying to get psyched up for the Giro. And again, it was just a really, really great race. How do you find it, Danny?
Yeah, really good. I mean, really good to see kind of everyone do their first big GC hit out for the year. And I guess, like, for me, just seeing Bernal just be strong every day, and there's so much chat. Oh, is his back going to give? Is his back going to give? And he was just there. Yeah, really good. Really enjoyed it.
I think it's important to maybe ask, how did our predictions go compared to how we left up? Because I was dead set that João Almeida was going to win.
Yeah, he didn't do great, mate.
Well, that's fair. He was robbed. All right, he was robbed by the opportunity. All right, and I still think if it wasn't for
kids, bloody kids,
if it wasn't for Remco showing his head again, I think he would have won. But how about your predictions?
I got 2 out of 3 on the podium.
Nerd.
I was happy with that.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
Louise?
Yeah, mine sucked. I was going for a British win, which didn't happen.
Yeah, no. I think you said Geraint Thomas for the win, and he wasn't
really.
even
racing.
Yeah. I did terrible.
Yeah, I forget my podium was João, Yates, and Carthy. So I got one out of them.
Mine was
one out of
Yates, Soler, and Carthy.
You had a 5-man podium.
Yeah, I erased 2 of them because they were so bad anyway, and podiums are traditionally free. So yeah,
you kept it.
I've gone to free.
Kept it to the tradition,
and I still did rubbish. But.
my outsider was Jai Hindley, who, as far as I'm concerned, didn't race.
I think he flew home.
Pretty much.
Yeah. You did some predictions. What was your predictions? Manny Bookman. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he came good towards the end.
Isn't he a tennis player?
You did say
Pretty sure he's
Bernal,
showing up at
didn't you?
Wimbledon in a few weeks.
The guy had Liverpool and
Oh,
maybe Bernal.
Yeah.
you have Bernal.
I had Carthy, Bernal, and Yates is my top three.
So
That's
two-
pretty solid.
2 out of 3. It's pretty good.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, top. It was a brilliant race.
Can we talk about Caruso?
Let's talk about Caruso.
Silent assassin. He was just consistent. I mean, I don't think he's ever won a
Is that
GC.
throwing shade?
No, it was good. He was just there. No one talked about him, and then he rode into second. Oh, it was really impressive.
It was nice, and it was one of those great things about cycling for kind of for those who sort of like understand like kind of the tactics of it. He's always been the guy that rides for other people, and he's had a very good career doing that. And so the whole cycling sort of community and press were just so happy to see him get up there and on the podium. I mean, it was like, wow, this guy's worked so hard for other people. It's great to kind of have the opportunity to see him shine. And if it wasn't for Lander crashing,
Flying home.
he may not have had that opportunity. So it was great, and it came down to that penultimate stage. Oh, it's brilliant.
But if you can rely on Lander to do anything, it's crash out of a Grand Tour. So
And we saw Taco van der Hoorn.
yeah, he was in the break at least 3 times.
Yeah, he won a stage.
Yeah, he obviously won the stage.
Yeah.
Goes without saying.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said he was going to win a stage. He
Yeah.
did.
We
His second stage. Early doors.
great.
He tucked it away early.
It was the second stage.
He
yeah,
got
yeah.
in a few other breaks.
It was great to see the Mexican champion doing well.
Yeah. Apparently, he's just lost his national champs jersey though.
Oh, to who?
One of the Legion of LA riders, now Mexican national champ.
Amazing. Something that was cool this week was Egan Bernal presenting a bike to the Pope, which is pretty rogue. Never seen that before. So it's what bikes they ride? Pinarellos. It's in like the
Chinarello.
Vatican colours, and you can see the Pope's like,
Oh, cool.
yeah, thanks. Like, I'm definitely going to ride it. Yeah, it's just like, oh, give it to charity.
You see him motor pacing the Pope-mobile soon.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Imagine the windbreak you get from that thing.
Yeah, brilliant Giro. It's good to see it. And actually, our predictions weren't too bad. There's been some other great racing over the past few weeks. I think we can't ignore the fact that Cab's winning again, which is wicked. I know Pete's
Yellow jersey.
all over it. Yellow jersey.
Cav for yellow jersey, yeah.
Yeah, it's
He's
wicked.
got that wrapped up, hasn't he? It's coming home.
Yeah, you can't,
Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here.
you can't jump ahead of these predictions.
Sorry.
Danny, what other races have there been, pal?
We've had Tour de Suisse,
Yeah.
which is a really exciting race. Again, it's like another Ineos kind of show of force. Richard Carapaz did a great ride. He was just obviously the strongest every day.
Yeah.
He didn't do a great final TT, but yeah, he was just always there. So that was really cool. That's kind of the Tour de Suisse and the Dauphiné are kind of the two big tour 1 week tune-up races. So you always kind of see who's good, who's not. Often the winner of those doesn't always win the tour, but it's like the podium's a pretty good showing for who's going to be going well. Eddie Dunbar, shout out to Eddie Dunbar for doing the ride of his life for
nice.
Carapaz on one of those like final stages. Really cool.
Well done, Ed.
Well done, Ed.
On your head. Any racing that for you guys that stood out, apart from Grant's cyclocross podiums or near podiums?
Podium 2 out of 3 races.
Two podiums, pretty good.
Well done, Grant.
Gravel race in America. That was quite.
Oh yeah, Unbound.
Oh yeah.
Don't forget the Legion of LA domination.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tulsa tough.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, it's great seeing them go well, isn't it? Yeah, it's been. I mean, I've just been buzzing seeing Cav win. Like, let's face it, and and it's not like he's been against some weak fields. Like he's been winning again against some like legit
Belgium
guys.
tour, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean that stage he beat Merlier, Ackerman, Groenewegen, Buhani, Coca,
Ewan.
Bonifacio, Ewan.
Yeah.
Like really, really good sprinters.
Yeah. It's the glasses.
I think so.
It's those really ugly glasses.
100%.
The aero nose.
Yeah. I hope. Yeah. Yes, they're really ugly glasses.
How do you think Geraint Thomas won that sprint stage in Dauphiné?
Aero
Ugly
nose.
sunnies.
Drugs? Oh, well, no. No. Sorry.
Can't say that,
Can't
Jordan.
say that.
You're not allowed to say that about him.
All right. Should we get onto the tour? Should we get onto the tour?
Yes.
Well, actually, before we get onto the tour, obviously we've been doing these podcasts with Louise from the Internationals. Louise, you have some. It's been an amazing day for you. We've seen some great announcements, and obviously this is what we were going to be talking about on the podcast anyway. So obviously one of the things that we try and do is talk about some of the women's racing on this podcast, and we've we tried to kind of shine light on the fact that the support for women's racing just isn't there, and it's getting better, but it's not there. And the kind of epitome of it is the Tour de France. You've got this amazing 21-day stage race for men that's been going for over 100 years, and then there's this token gesture of a women's race, which is one stage down the Champs-Elysees, or a couple of years ago it was like 2 stages. I mean, it's an absolute joke. But there's been some really great news today. So, Louise, why don't you talk about that, and then we can talk about what you're involved in next couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. So we first heard about the women supposedly getting a race a couple of years ago. Partway through us riding the full tour, there was rumours of it being in the pipeline, but it was just, they've said, the ASO have said that a load of times before and nothing's actually happened. And then there was more talk of it last year, and that a proper committee was being put in place for a women's Tour de France to happen. But there was nothing official at all until a couple of months ago, when The Guardian broke a story about it definitely happening next year, and that more details would be to come. But it's only been really in the last couple of days that we've heard more about it and it becoming official. And then just in the last 24 hours, it's been announced that it's going to be called Tour de France Femmes avec Zwift. So Zwift are the title sponsor. When I first saw it, I thought, oh, geez, it's just online.
It's going to be online.
It's not. Yeah, it's going to be on Zwift, not. And just thought, here we go. This is exactly what I was dreading, that it wasn't going to be a proper race, but it is. It's going to be 8 stages. It's starting next year.
Amazing.
They've guaranteed coverage, which is the massive one.
Yeah, that's huge.
It's going to start as soon as the men's race finishes on the Champs-Elysees, and they'll announce the route in October when they do the presentation with the men's presentation of their route as well. So
it won't be run at the same time. It's going to be a separate event. Brilliant.
I mean, there's arguments for both. It could get swallowed up in the men's race if it was on at the same time. The logistics are horrible, but hopefully the men's race will, be exciting, and then the women's race will follow on. And with that coverage in place, it's awesome. So I was hopeful of it, but kind of cynical about everything until the last 24 hours, and actually seeing, the preview of it, of the advertising and stuff. I've been a mess. This is everything that I've been battling for 2 years, and it's taken a lot. When we rode the tour 2 years ago, it ruined us. Some of the girls have never really recovered. People's adrenals were messed up for months. Some of them never wanted to get on a bike again. But for me, it's just made everything worthwhile now. You look back and it's worth it, because we created conversations, and people couldn't believe there wasn't a women's Tour de France, and the one stage offering was just pathetic. So we're absolutely delighted. Don't know what to do next year, whether we just go in celebration or just to have fun.
What do you mean you're not racing it? Credit to you, because you and the Internationals, what you guys have been doing over the last few years has obviously played a major role in getting awareness into kind of what's been going on, and you can feel the last couple of years there's just been this kind of like building momentum behind it, and with a hope that and obviously we're talking about the Tour de France, which is arguably the most it is the most famous cycle race. It has appeal beyond just cyclists. It has a global appeal. So for the Tour de France to finally reach that tipping point where they said, yes, we're going to do it, it's going to be a legitimate race, and it's only going to go from there. Apparently it's the most watched annual sporting event.
Wow. Because obviously there's Olympics every 4 years, stuff like that, but an annual event, it's the most, it's brilliant. Massive. It transcends cycling,
which is so good.
Yes, it's awesome.
So obviously, and I'm sure that internationals will be involved in some capacity.
Yes.
But a huge credit obviously to the work you do and many other people and journalists, and really getting behind it. So
it's wicked,
it's a brilliant thing for women's cycling. Yeah.
Thank you. We've just partnered with Zwift as well, so cool. We're doing some rides with them. Perfect. And that partnership will just go on to be bigger and better things with them really getting behind women's racing. We've a lot to thank them for, because they got on board last year with a virtual race for the women, which was exactly the same as the men's, which had never happened before. So Zwift are incredible. So we're delighted about that. But then on to this year. So we were set to go to France again to ride the full tour the day before the pros, but COVID has scuppered our plans because of we're an international team. We've got
Yeah.
riders in Australia, America, Netherlands, and here in UK. So we've decided to kick off our plans with a Zwift ride, and people can join us on the day the tour starts. And then we're doing some challenges in our own country. So I thought it was a good idea at the time, and now I'm in quite deep regret that the 4 of us in UK are going for the Land's End to John O'Groats record.
Amazing.
Starting next Monday.
Yeah.
And what we haven't announced is that you guys are coming too as our follow vehicle.
We're going to support. We've got
Mechanic.
Danny, myself, and Doris.
Yes.
We're going down and going to support it. I
Yeah.
mean, just to be clear, so I don't know if you heard that. So the internationals, or the 4 UK-based internationals, are going to try and break the relay record for the Land's End to John O'Groats. So obviously, huge task. And you guys are hoping to do it in 48 hours?
Yeah.
48 hours. Land's End to John O'Groats. Obviously, as like a relay. So I mean, what are you doing? Like, 2 hours or
I think the plan is start off with an hour each, so we don't all go mental and then have nothing left.
Yeah.
So an hour, and then on to 2-hour shifts until we get it done.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's 1,300 and something kilometres.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're hoping to do it within 48 hours.
Yeah. Which is amazing. I mean, obviously, so at the internationals, we've in previous podcasts, please go back and listen to them. We've spoken about, you doing these, Herculean tasks, like riding the Tour de France, all the stages the day before, as just to kind of say, like, women have a legitimate place in cycling. Like, we can do it. There's not a physical kind of like barrier as is always made out. We can do it. And so you've did that 2 years in a row. Last couple of years you couldn't. And so this year again, I mean, it is a monumental thing what you guys are undertaking. And it is, honestly, it's Danny and our, and Giro's like privileged to support in some way. It's been great kind of partnering with you.
Wicked.
Because it is making a statement. It is making a massive statement that's so important for cycling. Obviously we're a coffee shop. We have an open door. We see many cyclists come through the cafe day after day, week after week, and the number of women cyclists is definitely increasing, but the coverage of the women's cycling hasn't been increasing with it. I mean, it has, to a point recently, but it's starting to shift now. So it's brilliant to support what you're doing. It's just amazing to kind of be working with you. And so, yeah, we're definitely looking forward to next week. And good luck.
Thank you.
So what can, the people listening here and the people listening online, what can we do to support? What can we do to kind of help?
Follow us on social media. We'll be putting a tracker online so people can track progress and stuff like that. And and just, like our staff, and the same for the female pros too. Watch their racing, follow them, get involved with what they're doing. The more people talk about it, the more demand there is for women cycling, and it just helps everyone, and it makes women on bikes be a normal thing, and it encourages people to get started as well. So all that helps.
I love that, making it a normal thing. Absolutely right. It's brilliant. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Danny's going to be on shift 48 hours fixing punctures. Well, hopefully no punctures. No punctures.
No punctures.
Hopefully Danny won't be busy at all.
Yeah, I'm really
that's
hoping
right,
to sit in the car.
You just keep him awake for
read my
48
book or
hours
something.
for
It's
no
gonna be great.
reason. I'd get a lot of satisfaction from that as well.
Rob and I are going to be
It's pretty
sharing.
much bang on.
Rob and I are going to
normal
be
week
sharing
in the car.
megaphone duties throughout the week,
Right.
with the hype men.
Yes.
Hyping everything up.
Yeah.
That's wicked. So excited. So excited. So that starts next week, which is obviously at the start of the tour as well.
Yeah.
So it's coincided with that, which is brilliant. So onto the Tour de France. I can't believe it's come around. It seems like ages ago we were doing the podcast about the classics, and now
Means it's nearly July.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's the longest day of the year next week.
Fuck.
For me, that's like the saddest day of the year, because it just means it's all going like shorter again.
Downhill from
Oh,
here.
no. Come on, let's keep it positive, guys. Let's keep it positive. Come on.
Oh, I'm just going to go home now.
Depressing.
So before we get into this things, we want to get your guys' involvement as well. But a bit of history of the tour. So the first edition of the tour was in 1903, and similar to what we talked about with the Giro d'Italia, it was done as like a bit of a spectacle to raise or to promote a newspaper. So at that time, the newspaper was L'Auto, and now it's L'Équipe. And it's obviously a sports newspaper. And so it was they basically said, right, let's put on the most ridiculous, because at that point in the early 1900s, cycling racing was becoming more of a thing, and there were like long days, big races. But they said, let's do the most ridiculous thing, so that we can get more people buying our newspaper, because there's no TV back then. So the only way that people could keep up to date with what was going on was buying a newspaper. So how's this? So it was 6 stages with a total kilometres of 2,428 kilometres over 6 stages. And so the stages weren't done in one day. So you had basically kind of people, it was, I think it lasted over like 19 days in total, but you had people basically riding to the end. But what was interesting is if you didn't finish a stage, you could still enter the next stage, but you wouldn't be included in the general classification. So 60 riders started, and I think it's something like only 24 did the whole thing. And it was like 19 days or something. But
So
I mean,
it's kind of like ultra racing.
it's basically like ultra racing now, but you have to understand, like now, ultra racers have bags and lightweight bikes and all this. These were, the beginning of 19th century. I mean, I'm not even sure the wheels were round. You know what I mean? Like
They always have pictures of them carrying tubes around their
and all of
shoulders
that.
and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
don't they? 400k a day. There you go. Quick math from
Standard.
Franco there.
Standard for 400k a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was lots of drugs, cheating,
Lots
and
of
train
skullduggery.
journeys back in the day. Yeah.
Amphetamines and brandy.
Sounds like a good time.
Bring it back.
Yeah. Bring it back. Well, I mean, we'll get into like the favorite members of the tour, but if any of you like read any of the books around some of the history of the tour, like back in the day, like, because there wasn't an understanding of kind of like scientific merit and kind of understanding like health, so you didn't understand about hydration, and so on like the really hot days, it was like a thing, and it was considered like an honor, where these riders would literally kind of all just bundle into like a bar or a coffee shop and literally raid it. So they go in and grab all of like the like brandy bottles and whiskey bottles and kind of like, no, it's true, and literally just run out with it.
Yeah.
And it was if that happened to your sort of like bar, it was an honor. It was like, oh wow, they stopped through here, like they've ruined my business, but hey. But you can imagine these guys are like in the middle of it. Can you imagine seeing that in the middle of a race now? Guys like bolting in and just grabbing a few beers.
It's like an ice cream raid at the Esher for Matt nowadays. But like you always see pictures of them back in the day, like on the darts, so they'd be having a quick smoke break.
Totally.
Middle of 400k.
Well, I mean, Tommy Simpson, obviously, British legend. He died up on too, and he died with brandy and amphetamines in his system.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Like that was what they did to kind of like do these things. Amazing. What a way to go! Yeah, that's how I want to go. Don't worry, babes. That's not how I want to go. That's not so much a shame for my.
Been off the Von 2 climb, and you got me sorted.
So we've got a few things here, but it'd be great to get your involvement. Like, obviously, but whether or how long you've been cycling or not, I don't think depends on maybe your memories of the tour, because it is just that kind of sporting event that's always been on. So I mean, we've got a few here, but maybe open out to the floor here. Like, what are your favourite memories of the tour?
Man, I used to watch it on TV with my dad growing up in the late 80s, early 90s.
On Channel 4?
Channel 4,
Yeah.
the theme tune,
Yeah.
which is now used on
Docker.
another
Yeah.
podcast.
Oh yeah.
That theme tune, for me, every time I hear it, brings back the memories of watching that and Miguel Indurain just
Wow.
smashing people.
Amazing.
Indurain.
That's cool.
We didn't get him on our
The big
highlights.
man.
No.
Yeah. Good work, Franco.
Definitely Bradley Wiggins leading now camp. Like,
Oh
Yeah.
we've
That was
got that written down.
Top of our list.
That's phenomenal. That's like goosebump stuff.
Yellow jersey leading out world champ.
World champs, yeah.
Outrageous.
To take a win on the Champs-Élysées, yeah. Unbelievable. So good.
So good.
Anybody else? Any memories? Babes? No?
Foreman getting into the yellow jersey.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
like, an Englishman actually performing in the tour was so rare back then. Now
Yeah.
absolute gold dust.
Yeah, phenomenal. Guys?
As a proud Aussie, seeing Richie Port ride to third on the podium after so many years of bad luck, just last year was really special.
Not Cadell winning.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. He was good and he was consistent and everyone knew he was good. But Richie Port,
Yeah, sure.
Now
that
you
was the
just
one.
feel sorry for
And I've
Rich.
met
Yeah,
Richie
yeah.
Port.
Yeah.
I've met Kit.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool.
He's a nice
Louise?
fella.
I've loved the tour for years,
Yeah.
and just for me being able to ride the whole thing in 2019,
Oh, amazing.
it was incredible
Yeah.
because you're seeing France's absolute best.
Yeah.
The coverage you see on TV is
Yeah.
amazing,
Yeah.
the helicopter angles and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But in real life,
Yeah.
it's unreal.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
so I recorded all of it and then would watch it whenever I was on Zwift or stuff, just to bring back all the stages, because they all merged into one.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember anything, but the climbs for me they're just iconic, and the way they're filmed and yeah, when we finished on the Champs-Élysées, I was just a mess. But
Yeah,
I
oh.
love the tour. I've always loved it. So it's been weird kind of protesting against it in a way, but
Yeah,
it's
of
not
course.
that I've been
That's
against it at all.
interesting.
I've just wanted the same
Of course.
for the women.
Yeah, that
'Cause I love
same
it.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Jay?
In 2016, I went and just bummed around following it myself.
Yeah.
I had my flip-flops tied to my saddle.
Yeah.
And I just rode around France with my mate Sam.
That's amazing.
And yeah, I mean, like, I wasn't even a proper cyclist then. Like, this was before I had like a fair enough, I'll take that. Yeah, no, I still had a crappy old bike and no like proper lycra. I had like one set of bib shorts. That was fun for a week. Yeah, and we rode up Ventoux the day Chris Froome rode into the back of a motorbike.
Yeah.
We got to the top, they didn't.
Yeah,
just
of course.
saying.
Super windy.
Yeah, just saying.
Was that when you went for a jog? Was that day?
No, there was other days. Yeah, it got really wild one night on the Grand Colombia, and my leg got stuck in a cattle grid after sharing some homebrew absinthe with some local French blokes. And we just talked about football stadiums all evening, and then he pulls out this bottle of 80% proof absinthe.
Wow.
And the next thing I know, I'm in a cattle grid.
How do you say it's coming home in French?
Oh, I don't know. I'm glad I made it home that day.
That's so funny. Vive le tour.
Vive le tour.
I mean, we've got a few things written down here, but like, I mean, controversial, but I remember just being super inspired with Armstrong, 7 Weirs. It was amazing. And I think it still is. Armstrong against Pantani on Ventoux in 2000. You know, watching those two, you know, Pantani's wearing that pink, was it the Mercante or whatever, the Mercante Uno team kit. Armstrong's in yellow. They haven't got helmets on, you know, because they didn't back then up the climbs. It was just so iconic. And then I think, like, one of the other things is whenever there's a French guy in yellow, it's so exciting. Tommy Vauclair, like, and Alaphilippe a couple of years ago, who just stayed in yellow, and everyone was kind of like writing him off, and it was like, oh, hang on, like, he's skiing
he
into
nearly
like the third
died
week.
for that, yeah.
And then, like, in Tommy Vauclair, like, he used to be in yellow like a couple of times, and you just see him, like, his tongue, like, hanging out, like, just, you know, just doing it all for the yellow jersey, doing it all for the country. Like, it's so
David
iconic.
Gaudu this year.
It's
going to happen.
David Gaudu's going to do
It's
it.
a premonition I'm having.
Any other memories?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When you can see the realisation in his face, like a witness.
Yeah, totally.
One up out the west.
He that was a phenomenal effort, wasn't it? And because there was other people sort of going off in front, but he just like kept steady, and sure enough, it was wicked. Yeah.
Was it Blocky when he crashed with
Oh man, got caught in that because it was so hot that the tarmac was melting, and it kind of got a bit wobbly. He never raced again. Armstrong went across the field. Yeah,
That's actually a Strava segment as well. Yeah,
Oh, amazing.
Armstrong
amazing.
shortcut. Yeah.
Do you know, you were talking about the climbs. Obviously, a good friend of the cafe, Michael Bland, is a photographer. We've got some of his like photos on the wall. He's got a book called Mountains. If you haven't got it, it's an amazing book. And he's basically gone to some of the most iconic, you know, climbs, not only in the Tour but all across Europe. And he sat down with a number of pros to, you know, get their take on it. And he's amazed because the majority of pros he'll ask them, "What's your favourite climb?" And they're like, I don't know. Like we don't get they said we'd love to go back with you to ride them, but not riding them racing because you don't get to take it in because it's just like head down, aware of what's going on. You're kind of in this bubble, even though we're seeing it on the TV and seeing these amazing backgrounds. Like they're like. They can probably seeing spots, you know what I mean? They can hardly see straight. It's really interesting. Like, you know, we take it all in, but they're racing, they're doing a job.
Even less so now with parameters because they're just looking at a number.
Yeah.
Concentrating on a number.
Yeah, really interesting, eh? So yeah, let's get on to this year's race.
Yeah.
Danny, you are excited about this race.
I'm excited. I think this is one of the best GC fields for a Tour de France in like recent memory.
Yeah.
It's outrageous.
Yeah.
Like the GC guys going, you got Roglic, Pogačar, Geraint Thomas, Carapaz, Richie Porte, Miguel Angel Lopez. I mean, like anyone's there.
Yeah.
Yates.
Gaudu.
It's huge. Gaudu.
David Gaudu. Well, hang on.
Ben
a minute.
O'Connor.
Hang on a minute. Taco van der Hoorn's not there. Sorry about that,
Well,
Jay.
he might be. I haven't looked.
No, they've backed the Van Poppel brothers
Oh yeah,
in
Boy.
favour of Taco.
Danny and Boy.
The
Danny
Van
Boy.
Poppels.
Danny Boy.
Imagine calling your son Boy. It's a real dick move, isn't it? Like,
It's very straightforward.
oh, we'll call this one Danny and Boy. Yeah,
We've got girl.
yeah.
Now,
Danny and Boy. Yeah, it's pretty savage. Yeah, it's an amazing field.
That's
Have you guys
huge.
seen the field?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's
Didn't prepare.
what do you mean you didn't prepare?
Honestly, I don't know
why I invite
you.
Yeah, and it's going to be a good lineup of sprinters as well. It looks as though we've heard that Cav's not going to be there,
Yeah.
but Sam Bennett's going to be there to defend green.
Yeah.
Shame.
Although apparently Cav's got a bag packed, so
Oh,
yeah. So
Just
chat
in
on social
case
media.
Sam's knee
Just
gives
saying.
up.
If Sam Bennett turns up in a dumpster in Belfast,
steady.
Wow.
Steady. Whoa,
Cav's
whoa,
going
whoa,
to the tour.
whoa, whoa.
just saying.
Wrong
Won't
part-
be me.
Wrong
but-
part.
Well,
of-
that's,
wrong part of
that's
Ireland, that.
escalated quickly. We know you like Cav, Danny, but Jesus.
Yeah, let's go through some of the GC contenders out there because it does look very, very, very good.
Very good. Yeah, I mean, so you've got the big ones that everyone talks about will be Primoz Roglic riding on Jumbo Visma and Tadej Pogacar
Pogacar.
for UAE Emirates. So obviously Pogacar won
Michael
last year. I'm just having a look at the team that he's got around him, and it's probably not as strong as some of the other GC guys, but I mean he doesn't need it. He's
Doesn't
just
matter when
an
you do 2
absolute
minutes on
animal.
a TT.
Yeah, exactly. And then obviously Roglic has got a really strong team around him. The Ineos team, they could have, 3 guys on that team could win the tour.
Yeah.
It's
Rowan's not
ridiculous.
going though, so they've basically
Rowan
blown it.
has been binned. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
And then I guess you've got loads of others. You've got, Wilco Kelderman, David Gaudu, Alaphilippe, Quintana, Simon Yates, Rigo Uran, who had a really good Tour de Suisse. So it's going to be exciting.
Pete's man, Emmanuel Bookman,
Emmanuel Bookman.
the tennis player.
Mm.
Looks like he's skipping Wimbledon this year. I don't know why you've got Mike Woods on GC though, Danny.
Oh, mate, he's going to be good.
Esteban Chavez.
Chavez.
I'm a big Esteban Chavez man.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Just says Mao on here,
Mal.
but I presume that's
That's the man himself.
Yeah.
anybody standing up for you there, Louise?
I'm going to go for the British win again.
Yes, absolutely
So
right.
G, I was-
G.
Maybe G.
That's-
He's on form.
Yeah.
And
We'll get to predictions in a sec, but he's definitely. Yeah, I've got a good feeling.
Yeah. And the French win as well. I think the ASO deliberately make the course to suit people like Alaphilippe. So each year they try and go, let's do this climb because then we can win the Tour de France. So, mate, I don't know. Like you said, the French get behind when they're... And it improves the whole tour. So your mate Gaudu and Alaphilippe, I think, could do well.
Bit too much time trial for him.
Yeah.
Hopefully the ASO pull their finger out soon and let Gaudu have his glory that he so deserves.
Apart from Gaudu, Jamie, who's standing out to you?
Michael Goggle back in action after Strada Bianchi.
Yeah.
Last time we saw him.
Yeah.
It'd be good to see him back. Yeah, it's a shame Cavendish isn't going because I reckon he, like I said earlier, had yellow in the bag. Especially inspired by an England win tonight when we beat Scotland.
Oh my goodness.
Cav will be flying. But yeah, I quite like to see Geraint win it. But
we've also got an unbelievable lineup of sprinters. So I mean, obviously, I think it's fair to say there's a difference now between sprint stage wins and then the green jersey because there's so many more points on offer at other stages that don't suit traditional sprinters. But I think this is the first time we're going to see Sagan against Van der Poel, and I think really battle it out for a green jersey.
And Wout van Aert. So Wout van Aert's there as well. I mean, he'll be riding in support of Roglic, but it'll be interesting to see whether he's allowed to go as well.
And the Van Poppel brothers.
And the Van.
And Danny and Boy.
Yeah, I don't know which one's the best, but seems...
Because we've already got a Danny, do you mind if I start calling you Boy?
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah. Let's make that happen. All right. I'm all for it.
Any guys standing out for you? For you guys out here? Rigoberto.
That time trial he won the other day was absolutely superb.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him become good.
Carapaz. Hello.
He's cool. Like Carapaz is. Yeah. He will crash at least 3 times. Yeah.
He's like British Lander.
One of the standouts from was it last year? Yeah, it was last year. It was Sepp Kuss. Man, oh man, he was just.
He's been copying it in the press this week for just being out of shape.
Oh really?
Yeah, he's not been going very well.
I mean,
he lost 2 minutes on a burger. Dauphiné.
He made it look easy, which Danny has some opinions on, but Danny's got a quiz.
I've got a quiz.
Should we go into the quiz?
All right, let's do the quiz. Let me just scroll past the rest. Quiz. All right.
Oh, yeah?
Questions for the audience. So should we have a buzzer? We need a buzzer noise.
I'll do it.
Yeah? Well, you can't.
Everybody just come and slap Jamie. Yeah.
All right. Is the noise.
I can just shout it out.
Who has the most Tour de France starts out of everybody on the start list?
This one's easy.
G.
Incorrect.
Just think like
Valverde is correct. Well done.
Get you.
All right.
Mr. Fancy Pants.
As long as you're not Googling no time for that.
Here is one that literally nobody will get.
He's 42.
Who is the youngest rider on the start list? Or how old is the youngest rider on the start list is probably a more fair question. Incorrect. It's Maxime Chevalier.
Probably
at
French.
22 years old. And it's a pretty young start list. There's 33 guys that are 25 and under.
Wow.
So there you go.
But didn't Bernal win it when he was 21?
Yeah. But he's older now.
Because
it's a year later.
Of aging.
Yeah, well, thanks for that, Danny. Yeah, exactly.
Bernal is aged.
Bernal was 21, I think.
Pogacar is also aged.
Yeah. Who's aged the most?
Bernal.
Oldest rider. Valverde. How old? 42.
Oh,
42.
Wow.
here he is, dropping big knowledge.
Average age is 29.
29.
Yeah, carry on.
The nation with the most riders? Easy one. Nope.
Ale!
I mean, it's in France. Yeah.
Franco again.
Hey.
Oh, someone get him a prize.
Oh, here you go. No one's going to get this, but this is just a fun fact. Who's got the most race kilometres this year? Probably, but no. Bauke Mollema, 7,389 kilometres of racing this year. Just racing.
Just crazy.
Outrageous.
Just crazy.
Tom Vasson has done more than that. You're not wrong.
Yeah, but not racing.
Yeah. Tom Vasson did that last
Danny,
week.
That's probably more than you've done in the last 3 years.
It probably is, to be fair. That's outrageous.
Most Tour de France stage wins?
Nope.
It's the infamous thing Cav's chasing.
Think
most stage wins.
Longer ago.
Not who's racing at the tour.
Should have
in
clarified.
total.
You've really messed this up there.
No, I don't think it's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
It's the record Cav's chasing.
Yeah.
The famous record that Cav desperately wants to.
Big man rode an orange bike really fast in it for an hour.
Eddie Merckx. With 34.
Yeah.
34. Yeah. You had a good one.
Who won the Ventoux? Given we're going back to Ventoux twice this year, they're doing 2 times up Ventoux this year. Who won Ventoux in 2016 when Froome famously rode into the back of a motorbike?
Oh yeah, and then ran.
Everyone's forgot, wasn't it? Thomas.
Oh, here you go.
Thomas de Gent.
Straight out of the blocks.
Straight out of the block. All right.
Not G.
So it's looking like it's a pretty interesting profile for the whole of the tour. And we just talked about Ventoux, stage 11 going up Ventoux twice, which is filthy.
That's going to be the one to watch. If you only watch one stage,
nice easy downhill finish though.
Oh yeah, easy.
Nice and safe.
Down Ventoux at 70k an hour.
Right. Yeah, they'll be fine.
What else is that? Yeah, Danny, why don't you talk to us through about some of the other stages that are standing out?
I love tech stuff, so I'm excited that there's twice as much TTKs this year as last year.
Oh, okay.
That's gonna be interesting for the GC shake-up. The first week actually starts. We got 2 kind of hilly finishes straight off the bat, which is cool. So there's going to be some years of the tour you get like 3-4 sprint stages at the start of the tour, and it's just there's not really any GC action. So that's going to be fun. And then you're kind of into the Alps from like stage 8. So there's a good amount of hills this year.
I mean, it's relatively flat for the first few, and then you've got TT on stage 5.
You said here, Danny, stage 8 plus 9 for some filthy bergs.
Filthy bergs, capital filthy.
Please do expand on that slightly.
Jordan's got the profile there.
Who's been out to France and either ridden the Alps or the Pyrenees? I'm sure you have, mate. Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, you have. You've done the whole lot.
You've done them all.
You've completed it, mate.
Completed. We actually did more than the men because the weather cut some of their stages short.
Legend.
So they finished it, and we were just like, oh, it's a bit of rain, rode through it. So we did 2 extra mountains than them. Yeah.
There we go.
Love that. Was that the year where it got rained off?
Yeah.
Oh,
when like the snow came.
Yeah.
So when you end your ride and it shows you like the max temperature and the lowest temperature, my range was 40 degrees down to 0 because we went through snow and serious sunshine. It was mental, that stage.
That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. That was the one that ended in teen, but they never got to teen. It did, because it was just decided randomly on who was in front of the... Yeah. That was bad.
Yeah, so good.
Cool.
You what?
You must have needed a lot of different kit that day. That's a big temperature range.
Yeah.
Just cried a lot.
Yeah, not fair.
Rob was there. I cried a lot, didn't I?
Sounds like last night's commute home, to be honest.
Right.
So they're going up to team again this year. We got Col de la Colombière.
That's where the cattle grid was.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought you were on Von 2.
Jamie's shoe is still there.
No. The Von 2, I was quite sensible. I just got heat stroke when we were up Von 2.
Ah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even know homebrew absinthe was this thing.
Oh, I didn't either. It might not be. but oh my God. if that wasn't real, I don't know what I drank that night.
Yeah, it's just going to be great, isn't it? There's some absolutely brilliant stages here. And then, it's great. Who's looking forward to it?
Yes.
Yeah, I really am. So before we get into our predictions, let's do Tanny's Tech Tidbits.
Tanny's Tech Tidbits. Hey.
Go on, Danny.
Go on. So for my tech tidbits this year, I mean, it's a little bit of what we did before, but I'm actually going to talk about the Internationals ride rather than the tour. Because, kind of the same things apply. So we had a bit of a chat. It is a record attempt, so they're trying to go fast. So, we kind of had a bit of a chat about, the big ticket things you can tick off. And it kind of applies to everyone. So number 1 was, tyre pressures and picking good tyres. So Louise has just had some shiny new GP 5000s.
Can't get them on or off, but
can't
they
get
look
them
lovely.
on or off. That's all right. That's what I'm there for in my sleep-deprived state. It's fine.
Right.
So then dropping those pressures a bit for faster rolling resistance.
So you drop the pressure to go faster?
You do.
Mind blowing.
Yeah, well, it depends.
What do you mean?
It depends on your weight and the width of the tyre,
It depends what that internet site that Danny uses tells you.
Yeah,
really?
Silka tyre pressure calculator. That's the one.
Here we go.
There you go.
So will
Get
you
your
be
verniers
weighing
out.
us at the start of each stint to see if we need to change our
and
tyre
in
pressure?
between every 10 minutes. So we'll
Yeah,
adjust the pressure
stop.
as well.
Get
Yeah.
off the bike.
Don't worry that'll take 10 minutes every time.
Right.
It's fine. We need to get the pressures right.
Marginal gains and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So explain the physics of that.
So the idea with a supple rolling tyre, like a shut up, Jamie.
Amazing. So carry on.
With a good quality tyre.
Yeah.
The idea is that running the pressure's a little bit lower than a lot of people run 100 psi or whatever on the road. Running them a little bit lower lets the tyre kind of deform over the bumps rather than bashing into them.
Okay.
So it's more comfortable, better grip, and better rolling resistance.
But
Supple.
the pros used to ride with tubular at 120 or whatever.
Yeah, but there'd also be 19 mil tubulars, so that probably actually was quite quick.
Oh,
but whereas
I see.
modern day your rim might be 30 mil wide, your tyre might
Okay,
be
fine,
25
fine.
mil wide, and then you're running
Interesting.
like 80 psi.
Wow.
So yeah,
How about that? I didn't know that.
there you go.
Consider ourselves educated.
There you go. And then the other one was just aero kit. So like not running flappy jerseys, like keeping everything like, I mean, 1 hour stints, you could run a skin suit if you wanted to. Yeah,
Like
would
a bit of a
be worth
knob in
doing.
traffic through Bristol, but
That's fine. Just yell.
Coming
Well,
through.
I mean, to be fair, you're going to have a support car, a megaphone. That I think you're
Skin
already
suits,
down.
least you
Oh,
are.
Yeah, exactly.
100% going to be sitting on the roof with the megaphone coming through Bristol.
Sorry.
Can we get Johnny Beers cleaning traffic for us?
That's so funny.
Yes.
No.
And you've got Danny in the car.
right?
If you're worried about the skin seat, just point at Danny in the car behind. Everyone will laugh at him instead.
All right. Well, thanks for that, Danny,
No
for
worries.
this fourth instalment of the
Is there
Danny's
anything
Tech
else,
Tidbits.
I think I just recycled the old ones, but no.
Oh, okay, fine. So tyre pressure and
Oh.
skin suits.
Yeah.
So we've all heard them before, but none of us
Oh.
realised. It says a lot.
No one listens.
All right. Well, look, we come to the most important part. Let's get to we will come to the women's La Course. Obviously, this is the last La Course before the Tour de France. Is it Des Femmes?
Tour de France femme
Amazing.
avec Zwift.
Amazing. So we will come to that. But let's do the predictions for the men. I think I'm going to throw it out to the audience first. Or no. Yeah, go on then. So Pete's going to start off.
Yeah, I think it's got to come from one of the three big teams, so it's got to come from UAE, Jumbo, or Ineos. I don't know. I think sort of I think Ineos are going to win it again.
Yep.
But they'll do it a little bit just all in the last week, and it'll be Carapaz.
You reckon it'll be Carapaz? All right, so we got
Carapaz.
Carapaz, and then who else on the podium? And Jamie, it's going to be a 3-person podium today,
I've got
Oh.
3 today.
not 5. All right,
Not
great.
5.
Pog and Rog.
Those two are going to be there.
All right.
Unless they crash out, obviously. I can't see they're going to be really difficult to beat.
An outsider?
Ooh, Javi's not there, is he? I'd say another one of the Ineos.
What about you,
Oh.
your man Uran?
I'd go for Teo, just as a complete random.
Teo, I like that.
Imagine
Oh, can
scenes.
you
That would
imagine?
just be so.
Can you imagine?
Crosses the line in
I
an
mean, I can't see.
That's funny.
Actually, I'd say Rigo as an outsider.
Okay, fine.
Out of the big three teams, Rigo, I'd love to see that.
Anybody else want to throw out some predictions?
Yeah, mine matches Pete actually.
Yeah?
But my outside would be Lopez.
Okay. All right. Grant?
I reckon Brew as an outsider.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, I can get on board with that.
I think Pog's going to win it.
You never know.
His team's way too strong not to do it. Whereas Roglic, he could do well with Wout towing him up the mountains.
His helmet might.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and Teo have got a 5-day competition going on, so
Mm.
it's one more than 4 days.
Yeah, it's a bit of a vibe, that, isn't it? When you can kind of put your glasses up on your forehead. Yeah, there's,
I
there's
can do
something.
that.
Yeah, it's not
I can do that.
yeah.
It says a lot.
All right. Louise, predictions.
Yeah, G.
G. Go on, G.
And Pog, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Pog, Rog, and G, but G up top.
So I've got the exact same thing. I've got Thomas for the win, and then Pogacar, Roglic on the podium. That's what I've got in the bank.
And you
Done.
said Froome as your outsider.
No, Froome, outsiders Esteban Chavez.
All right. Come on, Danny.
All right, I've gone for a very realistic podium. I think I'm being safe here. It's saying Richie Port's going to win. Ben O'Connor second and Jack Haig
Wow, fanboy.
third. And my outsider's Rigo as well.
Wow,
Yeah,
Patriotic.
this guy,
mate, it's going to happen. You heard it here first.
Ben O'Connor and Jack Haig. You reckon?
Yeah,
It'd be great to see Ben
Flying,
O'Connor go
those
well,
boys.
but I don't know, man. All right, okay, that's cool. In the bank, Jamie.
I've gone for Goggle. And then I've got Roggle and Poggle. And my outsider's Uran.
Amazing.
Rigoberto Uran, just in case there's any ambiguity there.
You ran. Wow, you're getting really good at Spanish, mate.
I've been taking classes.
All right, well, that's it. Well, I think that pretty much. Oh no, of course it doesn't wrap up. We're going to talk about La Course.
Mm.
So one final token gesture of La Course. that we'll talk about. So it's in Brest. I mean, it's 106 kilometres. And it's on a circuit, or that kind of...
It changed. It was meant to be the day after the tour started,
Yeah.
and then there are some local elections, and rather than put out the voting public, they decided to bin the women's race and move it to the day that the tour starts too, and get them to do laps of a bit of the men's race.
Amazing.
Local counts.
Yeah, brilliant.
So
Brilliant.
it's 107k and it's laps.
107k, and it's like a 40k, and then into like a lap.
Yeah.
So it kind of
like
opens. I mean, it opens out the field. It's kind of have more of like a world champs vibe, I guess. So yeah, predictions.
So Lizzie Dignan won it last year. I'm not sure she's on form this year. She seems to have been struggling a bit. So she and Voss were sprinting to the line last year, and Lizzie pipped, but it was tiny amounts. Yeah. So if Voss could be up there, she could do pretty good. I think Longo Borghini is possibly my favourite. Yeah. And then I'm always rooting for Cecily Trupp Ludwig just because I love her. I'd love to see her win.
That video you sent me was amazing. She's brilliant. She's absolutely
awesome.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Danny?
Well, I looked at the start list and there were 3 riders on it.
Yes.
So
this was hard.
Information's been thin on the ground, of course, in classic
research,
ASO form. But yeah,
do you reckon that's because they've been waiting to see if there is going to be like a proper race?
Yeah, to be fair, it's probably a lot of it is the team's just being like, I don't know.
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, a bunch of them are saving themselves for the Olympics and stuff because it is just a token effort. They're not bothering.
Sacked it off.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
All right, well, let's say they all do show up.
It would probably be pretty similar. Maybe Vollering.
Yeah.
She looked really good at the back end of the classics. So, yeah, but otherwise, I mean, if Annemiek's riding well, it's really
she's
hard
not
to
in
say.
it.
But she's saving
herself for
Tokyo.
the Dutch National Championships and Tokyo.
Yeah,
when is Tokyo happening?
July,
today.
Supposedly, last year.
Yeah, exactly.
2020.
2020 Olympics. 2021. So I've got Vollering, Dignan and Voss as my podium.
I've got Voss, Vollering, Longo Borghini.
Ooh.
Yeah.
If they show up. So, but look, on a positive note, at least next year we can really start to talk about a legitimate women's Tour de France, which is amazing.
And it's cool that Zwift have signed on for 4 years as well. So it's not
committed to outdoor riding as well.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, that's good.
Controversial.
Absolutely brilliant. All right, well, we'll wrap it up there. Guys, as always, thank you so much for coming, and thank you to our lovely studio audience, sort of.
All 5,000 of you.
Cafe audience. But guys, for those of you listening, do get involved on Twitter. We're usually pretty active on Twitter when watching the races. Use the little bit too long hashtag Breakaways and Breweries. But let's get it trending so you don't have to type the whole thing in, as I say every week. But yeah, thanks very much for listening. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Oh, round of applause. That's a first.